Good night, Shabbos, and welcome to Chumashir, Parshas Shemois. The Pasuk says, "Ve'ela Shemois b'nei Yisrael haba Mitzrayim, Eis Yaakov Ish u'Beisoi Bo." So the Rashi says, "Aval pi shemon b'chayein," even though we already counted them when they were alive. Shivim Nafesh in the last Sefer, Chazaru Mon Misasin, or Acher Misasin, L'Idiyah Chibasin. We counted that again when they were after they were nifter to show the chibas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shenimshul Kaychavim, they were compared to stars. Shemaitzim b'mispar, takes them out by number. Machnisam b'mispar, and puts them back with a number with counting. V'shmoisam, with a name. Shenemar Hamaitzi b'mispar tzvam, he takes them out. Takes out their legions with a number. L'kulam b'shem yikra, to each one he gives a name. To each one he calls a name. So the very basic approach to that is like, wow, there's chibas HaKadosh Baruch Hu towards each and every one of us. Hashem loves each and every one of us, which is true. I just wanted to point out that the kulam b'shem yikra, and he calls each one by a name. He gives each one a number. Every person has kaiches, and again, the standard approach to that is like, wow, each one of you have kaiches. It's an incredible thing. Be proud of yourself. But it's more. I just struck me. It's much more than just be proud of yourself. It's a tremendous achrayus that when you have a tafkid that nobody else does, nobody else can do what you're doing, and if you don't do it, if you just give up on that tafkid, you're being machas or something that can't be replaced by anybody else. I just found it interesting because people usually look at this in terms of something to be proud of, and while it is, it's also a tremendous achrayus. Another thing that's interesting is the fact that it says Eis Yaakov. Eila Shmois b'nei Yisrael ba Mitzrayim Eis Yaakov. So Mepharshim explain what's Eis. Eis means im, it means with. But I was still wondering what's the pshat that we use this lashon Eis instead of im. I saw the Medrash Agadol says that Eis is Mera lashon Tafel, to show that the Shvatim and Bnei Yisrael were tafel to Yaakov. He says it's very interesting because usually an elderly person, he's a tafel to his kids. His kids are the ones who are right now being taikif and accomplishing things, and he's just an old man sitting in a corner in a wheelchair being taken care of. He's had his glory days and now it's over. Fuke by tzadikim, by Yaakov Avinu, he never becomes a tafel. He always is betaikif. He's always accomplishing things. I just found that interesting medrash. In the same pasuk, or when it starts, actually the next few psukim, in pasuk Hey, it said Rishiv Nafesh v'Yosef hayu b'Mitzrayim, and Rashi says, why is it explaining that? We already said Shivim, Ma Ba'olam Amdeinu, what is it teaching us? Elo Idiacha Tzidkasa Shel Yosef. Who Yosef Harayas son of, he's the Yosef who pastured his father's sheep. Who Yosef Harayas, who Yosef Shoyeb Mitzrayim and As the Melech v'Omed B'Tzidkei. He was the Yosef that became a king and is still Omed B'Tzidkei. So it's just interesting to me. We mentioned this many times in the psukim earlier. Rashi says similar things, so I'm just curious to know what is this. What is the importance of this? Obviously, it's important that he was Ayman B'Tzidkei, but why is this so significant that we mentioned this many times? In pasuk Ches it says, "Vayakam Melech Chadash al Mitzrayim Asher Lo Yada As Yosef." A new king stood up, which didn't know Yosef, and the Gemara says Machlokes Rav Shmuel whether Melech Chadash Mamish or Asa Atzmai Kechadash. He made himself like a new king. He made himself forget that his kesher with Klal Yisrael. So I always was wondering what's pshat, and you say Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim on this, and on many different machlokes. So what's pshat? Did he die? Did he not die? Basic question. So somebody once shared with me an idea that I don't know if this is Kahagin Eisgehalten, but I'll share it anyway. Disclaimer that there's lessons to be learned from each tzad, from each tzad in the machlekes. Aleph, I'm not going to go into detail, but Aleph, that you can't rely on people because they're going to die, and you'll still be around. You'll still need Ezra, and also the fact that to show us that people can change their minds, and you can't rely on people because they won't stick around. They won't keep their word. So al tiftachu bin divim from two different stadim. So this person was telling me the point is whether he died, whether he didn't die, not so important to us. Rabbi Shmuel chadamer mel chadash mamish chadamer asa atzmai kechadash kilu lo yada. It's just, what lesson are we taking out of this? I don't know if this is Eis Gehalten, so don't hold me to it. A few psukim later. When it says Re'isem alav noyim. So just the interesting thing I heard once, and I don't remember where, but when you see the Nashim Ivrius alav noyim, in Rashi says V'mokum acher karu mashber, that the place where they sit when they give birth is called a mashber. It's interesting because mashber is also a lashon for crisis, especially in modern Hebrew, but it comes up in Lashon Kodesh also. Mashber, we're going through a crisis. I think this is an Indian of a crisis is, like they say, necessity is the mother of invention. A crisis is where new things come out of. If everything's going smoothly, then nothing will ever be neschadish. When you have a mashber, you have a crisis, you have to come up with new mahalchim, how to deal with this. That's the whole purpose of a crisis, to find new paths and avodas Hashem and everything. And it's more than just you have to find new paths. That is where, when you're in a crisis, that is where good things will come from. It's an interesting idea. I also thought, I don't really know what to say with this, but when Pari tells the Miyaldis to kill the babies with Nashim Ivrius, they said, no, we can't because Ki Chayes Heina. So I was thinking, I think you could say over here, Ki Chayes Heina. They were saying in Parshas Shemois that they're like, there was this Parshas Shemois that they're like midwives themselves, they can take care of themselves. Also Ki Chayes Heina, they're Nimshul L'Chayes Asada, they can take care of themselves. But I was thinking also there's a lashon chayes. They're bechinas chai. Klal Yisrael has a kayach to go forward, to keep on living through all sorts of mashberim, and the Miyaldis were telling Para, you cannot kill us. We're bechinas chai. We're chayes. You can try everything you want. We're chai. You can't do anything to us. Another interesting thing is when he says "V'taymarna miyaldis al Pari ki lo kanashim mitzris iris ki chayes heina." They're midwives. They're whatever it is. B'terem tovay alein, before we will come to them, and before the me'aledis will come to them v'yaladu, and they'll already give birth. They don't need us, so we don't really have a kayach here. So there's an interesting sarna. It says ki chayes heina b'ki'es b'melechas v'yaledes. They know the malach of midwifery. If we try playing shtick, margishes bedavar v'lei tikrena oida isanu lele. They'll chap that we're playing shtick and they won't call us again. So I was wondering, it's not like the words of the pasuk. The pasuk says that they won't even need us. They don't need us altogether. They give birth on their own. So the pasuk needs beer because they did have a job as midwives. So what are they saying? They don't need us. Obviously, you do something. You are a midwife. That's your profession. So what are you saying? They don't use midwives. So what are you doing altogether? So I think pshat is b'atzam. Yeah, they know how to deal with it themselves. But the way to give birth is through a midwife. It's more practical. It's probably more safe too. So he's saying, that's what the Svarna is saying. Normally they do call us to take care of the situation. But if they start hopping that we're playing shtick, they'll say, we know how to do this. We would like to do this with you because it's more safe, more practical, more comfortable, but we can take care of this ourselves. But Betzim, all along, they were using Shifra and Pua. One last word I wanted to say. It says, Vayita velikim la miyaldos, after they decided not to kill the Yiddish babies, Kadosh Baruch Hu was mative to them by year of and was the year of mean exactly. Usagi Amma, they grew. Vayatzmu ma'od, the nation grew and became very strong. I was thinking, what is this Vayita velikim la miyaldos? What did he do for them? So Enochanami it says Vayaslam batim bati kahuna bati malchus, but I think the main hatava that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did to the miyaldos was that he allowed their chesed to work out. That they did their part, and vayarav vayatzmu ma'od, and Ataka worked, and Klal Yisrael grew and steig. I think that's really the main schar of the mitzvah is that firstly that you get to do more mitzvahs, and that your chesed actually piles ice, because what's the lashon? A person can do whatever he wants. A person can choose right or wrong. But ba'etzem, it's up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu what comes out of that. So that was the chesed here, that they didn't just get to do a chesed in terms of choosing right over wrong. They chose right over wrong, and they actually piled ice. Have a good Shabbos.